Welcome, everybody, for another edition of KS Gaming 51 Broadcasting, bringing tonight's race for Velocity Motorsports. And this is the final race of the season. The championship race is finally here. We're here at the Desert of Phoenix tonight. And we've got four drivers going for the trophy and the top spot for the payout. All four happen to be teammates that are with a Elite Performance Industries esports team. All four drivers, or three of the four, have wins this season. Fourth driver to get in at the last minute there, coming to the start stripe last week, was able to get in, and we've got four drivers that I think any one of them could win it. I've joined to the booth, as always, by Shadilac, my brother. Shad, we've got a crazy race tonight. It's four drivers. Two or three of them we could have probably said we're probably going to be here. John started late. He's our fourth entry into the championship four. We probably didn't expect him to be here because we had Tyler B, we had Jason Blaney, we had several others that were right there in that points race pretty much all season. And John sneaks in here and, from what I'm told, won last night's practice race. So, what are you looking at here at the sunny, dusty desert of Phoenix racetrack?
Well, one, you got what now NASCAR has as a championship race. Been coming here now for the last couple of years. So, one, I expect these cars to either build really tight because you're driving in too deep and you're burning up that front right tire, or we're going to figure out who's the guys that are saving because those cars are going to build loose because they're driving off of that right rear. So, I expect two different kind of ways this race is going to go with guys running out there, burning their stuff off, and we're going to figure out the long runs. As talking with a few of the drivers, Kurt, here before this race, they said the fuel window is what sim racing apps is saying is 55 laps, but that's not shifting into fifth gear. So I wouldn't be surprised if we had maybe 63, 62 laps to go. Someone could easily make that. So hopefully it doesn't come down to fuel strategy. I want to see this top four just go all at it, pedal to the metal, and ripping around this crazy track, which has decent bankings through three and four, and now flat through one and two. Um, but yeah, Kurt, like you said about the four that made it, three of the guys we kind of figured based on how they ran all season. John Osborne, did miss the first race of the season, and was sitting outside of that top 12 for a long time. And then these last like 5, 6 races, he's really come on strong and found himself pretty securely in the top 12. And then, to get where he's at, he's the only guy in the top four that does not have a win. And so he was starting from behind
He's the
in
only
this.
guy in the top seven in points that doesn't have a win.
Yeah, and he had to battle pretty much behind every round, including last week where he was 3 points behind the guys that had wins, not counting Dohar, who obviously had multiples. So yeah, I didn't expect John to make it, but I know John is, he's a good driver. He's always had that bad luck though, but he's come around and, judging by what I'm seeing in practice right now and according to last night, everyone's saying he's got some speed. So, um, but with being able to run 50, 60 laps on these tires and fuel, I think the guy that has the long run speed is going to win this race if it comes down to that. Now, obviously a late race caution always changes that strategy, but
Well, I mean,
um,
we've seen Dohar run really long runs on some of these tracks with fuel mileage. We've seen him go above and beyond what everybody else does. We've seen him go 10, 15 laps further than some guys do by pitting ahead of time if there's an early caution. He did that just a couple weeks ago and came away with the win. So there's a lot of different things that can happen here tonight. Chris Murphy's been really fast. Jose's been really fast. Jose had some bad luck here last season in a turn down for what race here. Hit the apron a couple times and wound up ruining his race. Turn Down for What and Velocity are kind of getting together since I do broadcast both leagues, and they are trying to put their schedules together and trying to figure out, so they don't overlap each other or run the same race. Two nights in a row, because Turn Down for What is now moving to Mondays for their next gen series, and Velocity will be on Tuesdays for their next gen series. So Papa Bear and both Tylers got together yesterday and kind of hashed out different things. And Papa Bear decided to put on a practice last night for the next gen series that's going to be coming up here in May. And he invited the Velocity guys over there. So some Velocity guys went over and practiced with the Turn Down for What guys last night. And like you said, and like I've been told, John won the race. John did tell me everybody else wrecked out of the race, but he did win the race. So Dohar was not in that practice race, though. And Dohar won the Phoenix race in Turn Down for What, did very, very well. So I'm kind of throwing it out there. I don't know who's going to be able to do this. I don't have a favorite. I mean, there's probably two guys in that four group that I would love to see win this championship, but I don't want to kind of put that out there because I don't want anybody having bad feelings for me not saying them. But, I mean, this is the first season, Chad, and it's come down to these four drivers. Dohar's got 5 wins. Murphy has a win. Ruiz has a win. Osborne, 0 wins, but right there in this championship battle, it does not matter about points tonight. Leading a lap does not matter about getting a point. The only lap led that really matters is the last one, because it's your finishing order tonight is what decides who is the champion and who's second, third, and fourth for the payouts. Those other guys, though, that are racing tonight, Chad, through 5th through 9th, I think, or 5th through 8th, are also racing for their respective position in the point standings at the end of the season for payouts as well. And then 9th through 12th is also going for position for payout, because 1 through 12 gets payouts, but only certain sections are racing for certain areas, or certain drivers are racing for certain sections. So this is going to be interesting all over the place. A guy who might want, say, $30 instead of $20 might give a bump to get that extra $10. And championship drivers, 4 of them, teammates, I told him in the Discord today, I don't want to see you just running around this place, giving each other room and being nice to each other like you've done all season. I want you to use that bumper and go for the win. Make it interesting. Don't make this a kind of boring race. And, I mean, Shad, we're gonna get into this thing with the 4 championship drivers. I'll get you to bring them up here. I'm gonna go to the national anthem so we can get that done. Give a big salute to the red, white, and blue, and we'll come back and talk to the 4 championship drivers going for that trophy and big payouts tonight. All right, Chad, we are back here for tonight's race for the championship for Velocity Motorsports. We're waiting to see individual drivers here for the championship as they finish their qualifying lap to bring them up into the booth here. As we want to talk to all four before we get this thing going. Shad, I am not going to offer up my opinion on who I think wins because I like all four drivers tonight. I don't know if you have a favorite. I would assume maybe it's your good buddy Chris, but if you're just going on just talent alone and looking at this track and who you think can win, is there a driver you're watching that's not, a biased pick or anything?
Between the four, I don't know. They're all four really good. They're obviously into this championship four for a reason. Um, I mean, if you want to go by the man that's been the most dominant through the season, then you would pick Dohart. If I'm picking based on who I'd like to see, then yeah, I'm going with my buddy Chris Murphy. But any one of these four could win tonight. Um, and I don't know. These cars have changed a lot since Dohar won here and turned down for what? The total package for these next gen cars has changed. When I was first running these, when they first came out, they were loose everywhere. That's not the case anymore. So I think really any four that has put in the time over this last week of practicing over and over and over, any one of them could win if they did that. And by the sounds of it, talking to John Osborne, he's put in a ton of time over this past week, getting better at this track. Um, Whether enough that's going to be what it takes to win, we'll find out. But then there's always the strategy game. There's always the making no mistakes game. So, somebody's got to put together a complete race and they got to be fairly quick. Now, you don't have to win tonight, but you got to be the first car out of the four to come across that start finish line when that checker flag is waving.
Well, we see Osborne going out for his qualifying laps now. We'll see where he ends up here as he's coming through. Should be the start of his qualifying session as he gets down the back straightaway into the final two turns to start that qualifying session. And Chad, as you're watching him, is he running what you would consider to be the preferred line? I don't see him going down to the apron. I know a lot of guys have had issues with these next-gen cars in iRacing going down to that apron where it bottoms out and spins them. Is that still the case with these next-gen cars?
Through one and two, which used to be three and four, so the flat side of the track, you want to be up in that second to third groove. That's where the speed is. It's the same place where in real life they put the PJ1. Now going into the more banked corners, three and four, where the start stripe is, you want to try to get down to that yellow line. That's the preferred line. And it looks like Osborne
Fourth
missed it
fastest right now.
slightly. So yeah, he's fourth fastest. And I didn't see him go down to that yellow line through three and four. So I think he overdrove it just a little bit. One and two look pretty good. But I think he just missed it.
Well,
And
if you want to
three and
grab
four.
John, we'll grab and talk to him and wait for the other three drivers to lay down their qualifying laps as it looks like Murphy is going out now. So I'll pull him up on camera. But we can talk to John while we're sitting here.
Bring him up now. John, it's Swats and Shadow on the boots. Get a copy.
Yes, sir.
All right,
All
John.
right, man. We figured we'd bring up you four contenders. Just waiting for obviously all of you to get done with your qualifying. Since you're the first one done, you get to be the guinea pig.
Okay. I'm fine with it.
Well, how's the track feeling tonight? And do you have something for these other three teammates? And I've got one other question after that for you.
Sure. Track actually feels really good. I did do a long run in practice, and car felt really stable. And in fact, when I was done with it, I had a lot more tire wear than I had anticipated. So I probably could have pushed it a little bit harder. But that's just good knowledge for the race. Overall, I do feel like I have something that can contend. Um, you know, Tyler's obviously been the class of the field the entire season. I put in a lot of time and effort this week and ran close to 500, maybe 600 practice laps here. I do like this track a lot. It sets up good for me. I'm hoping we can get some long runs because I think I can really be good on a long run. So we'll just have to wait and see, man. We're all really good. I know Jose was quick in practice. Chris was quick in practice. I don't even think Tyler ran practice.
I did
That
not see a
guy.
practice lap for him. So, but I said I had one more question, but I'm actually going to ask you two because I just saw Chris's qualifying. So the first one is, will you give a bump to a teammate if you're coming off of turn 2 down the straightaway going into 3 and 4? Will you give the bump to a teammate to take home this championship and the prize money?
You know what? I hope it doesn't come to that. I'm not an Earnhardt or a
Come on,
Logano.
come on.
But yeah, yeah. I mean, if it's the last lap, I mean, it means the trophy. You got to do what you got to do. Now, I'm not going to take anybody completely out. Like, if I'm 3/10 behind, I'm not going to Ross Chastain it to just send it in. But if I'm right there and I'm quicker than them and they're holding me up, yeah, I might put a bumper on them. That's just a part of it. Where this is for the championship. There's no races after this one. This is it. So,
Well,
but
last one
yeah.
is you didn't go to use the dog leg. You did not use the apron during qualifying, at least for the second lap that I saw. Is there a reason for that?
I don't like it. If you hit that thing just at the wrong angle with the huge plates underneath these cars, I mean, every time you go down that dog leg, you're bottoming out just a little bit. And I feel like you have to really swing it out wide and kind of enter it in as straight as possible. But with 20 or so other cars on the track, that's not as easy said than done. I mean, that's easier said than done. I said that backwards. But I haven't ran the dog leg in any test session. I take that back. I did run it a few times a day just to see if I could do it on if we get a late restart, we're all on fresh tires. Just to make sure I can if I need to go down there. But I just don't like it. It eats your tires up. And honestly, I don't think it adds that much speed. I'm sure Tyler and Chris probably ran it, but I ran a 3 last night and I never used the dog leg. So if I can avoid it at all costs, then I probably will.
Gotcha. Well, we were going to try to talk to all four of you, but you took all of our time here with the other
Well, you asked
guys
a lot of
not coming
questions.
out for qualifying. Well, they didn't come out till qualifying to the last chance possible, and you went quick. So you get all the talk. Plus, we've talked to them enough being in the top 3 a lot this season.
Yeah,
So
I
why not
appreciate
why
it.
not give you a highlight there?
Yeah. Thanks for bringing me in here, guys. I hope we can contend later. If not, win the trophy, man.
Well, maybe we'll be talking to you the end of the night and give you that trophy, or at least maybe in the top 3 for sure. But we'll see what happens here for you. Shad, you got any final questions for him before we go through the gridding?
My final question is: has anyone practiced the Chastain in turn 3 to see if that's faster?
I sure have not. I don't. I'm not. I don't want to do that. So, and,
Come on, man, it's
and
for a championship.
I think the turns are so wide. I just don't know if it would help here as much as it did at Martinsville.
I mean,
So
you could bomb that thing in there and just let it hit the wall and roll off of it.
yeah, you hit it at the wrong angle though, and that back end's coming out on you. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you for the whole season. You guys have done a fantastic job, and we'll try to give you a great show.
Definitely appreciate it. Shad, send him back down to his teammates, and he can tell his teammates that we talked to him only. But we'll get into the grading process here, and it is going to be Tyler B getting the pole tonight, Shad. Tyler's got the one win of the season. He won the first race of the playoffs to push himself into the second round of the playoffs. He is going out tonight with a pole to start this finish race. I know he's a little under the weather as well, so apparently that's helping him here down in the dry desert of Phoenix. Your boy that you picked, if you had a biased pick, would be sitting second, Shad, Chris Murphy in that 7. Also running for the championship tonight. Tyler Dohar going to be starting third, also running for the championship as well with his 5 wins this season and regular season championship. Jason Blaney, our other winner of the season, winning the final race of the regular season. He's going to be starting 4th. Brandon Watkins is going to be 5th. Jose Ruiz, our 3rd championship driver for tonight, is going to be starting 6th. And John Osborne, who we just talked to, all 4 championship drivers will be starting in the top 7, Shad. Mike Carter will be 8th. Johnny Pasquale will be 9th. And Tanner White will be the top 10 as you want to continue on, Shad.
Yeah, so starting 11th, John Tiller. Starting 12th is going to be David Mayo. 13th, It's going to be Ivan Deschamps. Everybody else after him did not put in a time. It's going to be 14th is going to be Jason Palmer. 15th is going to be Austin Walton. And then only 16 cars tonight, Kurt. And the 16th is going to go to Sean Walton.
Well, 16 drivers on the track tonight. I don't think that's going to be a big problem for these championship drivers, as they won't have as many cars to deal with, especially if they start lapping cars. But yeah, definitely would love to see you guys finish out the season. I know some guys, you know, it's Valentine's Day. Definitely got to give the big shout out to the significant other, my wife especially, or as I've been told in the past, people like to say it, our smoking hot wives is what we have to always say, giving us permission to run this race tonight or broadcast this race tonight. Wish they would have chose another week, but this is what we've got. So trying to finish out this season, and we'll take a month or a month and a half break before the second season kicks off. But Shad, we're 1 to green, and Tyler B is going to lead them to the starting stripe with that green flag waving here just shortly. And we're under green, Shad, for this race here at Phoenix Championship 4, final race of the season. Couldn't have ended it in a better place, I think. It's what the NASCAR normally does at Phoenix. I kind of like the Homestead race, though, and possibly Charlotte as being the championship drive at some point, too.
Yeah, Phoenix is the place to be as of right now. We're already 3 wide, Kurt, coming out of turn 2. And then the 22, Blaney backed out of it, thought better of it. But that's going to mess up Chris Murphy as they go off into turn 3, went way high. And there's already contact, Kurt, between the 2 of the 4 championship drivers. That's going to be Jose Ruiz and Chris Murphy. To me, it looked like Ruiz went up a little high and kind of door slapped. Might have been a little net code on that. Spun out. I don't think he hit the wall. He just fell to the bottom of the pack. And then also chaos ensued too. The 22 got really loose coming off of turn 2 and was able to save it. But Murphy now has, even after all that, still in 3rd place behind his teammate, Tyler Dohar.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. I'm trying to go back to see if I can find it.
And now we have another caution out on the track, Kurt.
I was going to say, I didn't see a caution come out, so this one might be a race official thrown caution. Or was it because of David Mayo? I don't see any red bars across there, so we'll go back and try to find this. I'm looking right.
Oh, 42 car,
right here.
Kurt. 42 of John Despasquale, or I'm not sure how to say it.
Despasquale.
Got loose going through the dog leg, clipped it, and it got him loose, and he spun right in front of Tanner White.
Well, we'll take a look quickly at Jose Ruiz's incident here with his teammate, and then we'll go back and take a look at another one. So here's Jose Ruiz going into turn 3 and 4. Coming out of 3 and 4, it just looks like Jose just keeps floating, and maybe he didn't know Murphy was up there, but he went right into the left rear, and fortunately for him, did not hit the inside wall. It was so close to hitting both of those inside walls, the pit exit wall and then the very inner wall of Phoenix. He was very, very close on hitting that, but didn't make any contact with it. So he's just got maybe a little bit of damage to that right front. He could probably fix that on a quick pit stop. And then this other one that you're talking about, I'm trying to find it. You said it was Ivan the Champ that was involved in that one?
Johnny Despasquale.
All right. Oh, I think I see it right there in front of Jose. He was actually contacted in front of Jose as well. Somewhere else. Whew. Yeah, the Nickelodeon car. Who is that?
32. Sean Walton.
All right, so that's Sean Walton. Let me go back and see if I can find this spot, because it looked like he was sideways before the Johnny Despasquale sideways issue there too. Yeah, so him and the 25 make contact in the same turn. that Dispquali and the other guy made a contact. So the white car comes up, and I don't know if maybe they just noticed the smoke. Yeah, 32 tries to, oh, okay, so it wasn't contact. The 32 tried to avoid. That's what I saw him sideways. So a lot of stuff going on, Chad, and we're only 6 laps into this race. And we've already got one championship driver that was sideways spinning, so it's going to get even more interesting as we get closer and closer to the end.
Yeah, I think guys are finding out the hard way that dog leg is tricky. I personally don't like to use it either. Maybe on the first lap of a restart, you dive down under there and try to make up a few spots, but after that, it's sketchy. You can hit it one time and it's just fine. The next lap, you hit it in the same spot, same angle, everything, and the car just wants to get loose, either coming off or going back on. So it's definitely sketchy down there, and some of those guys learned the hard way. And then I think these cars just right now, Kurt, on these fresh tires, tracks 92, so it's not bad, but I think they're just finding out right now, at least on the first couple laps, the cars are a little loose until those tires will get warmed up.
So, Chad, we did have a couple pit stops there, and of course, none other Tyler Dohar goes down pit road, and it looks like just for a fuel stop. Same with John Osborne, and Jose Ruiz was in just a little longer probably to fix the damage. But, yeah, going and taking the strategy that I said right away that, you know, if we had an early caution, don't be surprised to see Tyler come down and grab fuel. Jose and Osborne following him down. Jose might have been a little bit more of a necessity to fix maybe some of that right front damage, but we're going to get back going green here as Tyler B is going to lead him around. Chris Murphy going to take the second position now to the outside of the 88, Chad. Tyler B on the loud pedal screaming through the start stripe. Gets it going through here. Blaney going to slide right in front of Chris Murphy as he used the dog leg. And that's what you were talking about, Chad. Using it on a restart, and he jumps right in front of Murphy. Looked like he was shot out of a cannon there.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you know, you cutting the track. I mean, it is faster because you are cutting a significant, amount of the track, but it can be sketchy. You cannot see that car on your outside. You're relying solely on that spotter. As we have another caution, Kurt, and it's the 42 once again, and I believe the 3 is also involved.
I think this one is Michael Carter and Johnny Dispquali, so we'll go back and take a look at this one. Hopefully this is not the trend that we're going to see here tonight, Chad. This is getting a little quick on these cautions.
Oh, so actually it looked like the 12 got a little piece of it, and then the 42 as well. Looking at it, Kurt, looks like the 3 just gets loose going off into turn 3.
All right, so I got it pulled up here. We're going to take a look at it. Looking for the 3 and the 12 here making contact. 3 gets a little loose going through there, comes down into the 12. 42 has nowhere to go with another guy stopping. So, yeah, that's just a quick stop. Now, Chad, those guys were towards the back, and I'm trying to look to see if maybe those guys did take tires. It does not appear that they took tires. I'm just seeing, well, Johnny Dispquali is only on 6-lap-old tires, so he had to have stopped and taken, well, no, 5.1, so he stopped for fuel. I was going to say maybe it was cold tires, but does not appear to be that way.
Yeah, the 3 there of Michael Carter, you can tell when he gets into turn 3, that car is just all over the place. Extremely loose on entry, and when he tried to get back into the throttle, it just looped it. And unfortunately, the 12 got a little piece of it, and the 42, I don't think anything's going to be fast repair worthy. Obviously, the only thing you need to worry about here is obviously the horsepower and the handling. The aerodynamics really doesn't play too much of a key, as the speeds aren't that crazy fast. So I think all 3 of them will be able to get the repairs done fairly quickly and shouldn't have to use that fast repair.
I'm seeing some comments out there saying they really be doing it doing in a circle like burr. Car equals speed. Can we please have that little side menu where it shows everyone's places? That is at the top of the screen. If you cannot see that, please let me know. But I am able to see it on my phone. We're watching Twitch.
So he wants you to pop up the telemetry of their speed.
I guess. I'm not sure. It said places, so
That should be scrolling at the top.
yeah, that's what I thought too. Little side menu where it shows everyone's places. Yeah, I think it is.
Let me double check.
Seeing it on my phone. To me, the ticker is going across the top of the screen with the placements of the drivers, so I'm not sure.
Oh, unless he's talking about the championship 4,
Oh,
where they're at running currently.
yeah, I don't have that.
Yeah, that'd be. I don't know if SDK does that or not.
I think it does. I was trying to set it to where the coloring of the drivers' names were a specific color, so you knew where they were at. But for some reason, it's not working. So I don't know why that's not working.
Well, I see Dohar, Murphy, Ruiz, and Osborne's numbers in pink.
If they're all in pink with purple background, then it did work.
Yeah, I see all 4 of their car numbers on the side there in pink.
Okay, so it did work. Alright, well, we're going to get back on here. They're going to be coming around here for 1 to green, and we'll get fired back off here. And I heard a race admin go over the chat saying for guys to take it easy and try to get some green flag runs going. So we've got the green flag out in the air. Shad, Tyler B still out front. Tyler Dohar now in second. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of changing here from these guys from what they're doing.
Yeah, I think some of the other guys who didn't come down, like Dohar did that first caution, they decided to come down this time around and maybe top off only. So that now allowed Dohar to jump back up to where he was, and he's right behind Tyler B, who has not come down yet.
I mean, doing that, Chad, it adds weight to the car. So to me, it adds a little stability to the car. So, I mean, yeah, it might, hurt your chances of going back into the middle of the field and trying to grab some fuel, and maybe it affects, somebody else spinning out or something like that, and you get caught up in it. But to me, it doesn't hurt to do it this early unless you get caught up in somebody else's mess.
Yeah, I mean, right now, the biggest thing is if you go back into the small pack and you're going into the chaos and where the mayhem typically happens. As Tyler Dohar, extremely loose, going through 1 and 2, drifted that car. Amazing his car control to be able to hang on to that, but I'm sure he just hurt those tires pretty good. As he pretty much drifted all the way through 1 and 2. And that allowed, obviously, Tyler B to get out to about a 2-second lead all over him, and Austin Walton now closing in on Tyler Dohar. So, yeah, just goes to show you that even the guy with the most wins, probably the most dominant driver of the season, even he himself is having a little bit of trouble hanging on to this car right now.
Yeah, I mean, Chad, Austin Walton, he's a guy who finished 3rd last week, was a playoff driver, didn't get enough points in, or didn't get enough positions in to be in the top 4, but he did finish 3rd last week, beating John Osborne to the finish line, but John had enough points to push himself forward with the other guys that had issues. I mean, he's shown a lot of speed this season, a lot. He just has not figured out the tire strategy. And he said that last week, is that he hasn't run a lot of races with these next gens. I'm wondering if he put time in, if he put practice in, because he's sitting here in the top 3 right now, and he's looking just as fast as the other drivers.
Yeah, Austin Walton, maybe he's finally started to figure these cars out, and we're getting to finally see his full potential as a driver in these things. And if anything, it's building momentum for next season. It's letting him, himself know, like, hey, I can drive with these guys. I just got to be able to put a race together and figure out the strategy part of it. But so far, looking pretty good in this early running. Another note, Kurt, is 3 of our 4 guys are in the top 10. John Osborne, currently, though, right now, is sitting 13th, about 7 seconds back of Tyler B. I'm not sure if that's a tire move on his part. Maybe he's trying to save something, as these guys, like I said in the pre-race show, it wouldn't be a stretch to do 60 laps on these tires and fuel. So, if they came down right now, 60 laps, they could make it technically on one more stop. So he could be playing that long run strategy.
And that's kind of what I imagined he was doing when I saw him go down pit road early in that first caution. We seen him do it a couple weeks ago where he was one of the few that came down. I believe Jose went with him as well, but Murphy and Osborne did not. And Jose and Tyler were able to go 1-2 for the finish line. So I don't know. I'm kind of... I know a lot of people say, well, racing's racing. It doesn't matter if you have speed or if you have strategy, if you have, tire saving, fuel strategy, whatever you want to call it, a win's a win. I agree, because Brad K has done it a ton in real NASCAR, and they were able to figure it out a lot. But yes, we want the full speed ahead. We want the guys going for it. But to me, if you can figure it out, tire saving and fuel strategy, you don't have to be the fastest guy on track. You just have to have the right strategy and the right time to pull it and go get that win. And that's what, Bohar has not been the fastest car on the track, I think, in any one of his wins, really. Besides, well, no, I can't say that he's been the fastest of any of the wins, because Blaney has been one of the faster cars in the races, and he's only got 1 win. Austin Walton's been super fast and has 0 wins. Osborne has just as many poles as Dohar has, and has 0 wins. Tyler B has 1 win, and he's been really fast throughout the season. So I don't know. Does it make you an all-around driver? Yes. Do you need speed to win? No, in my opinion. Does it help? Yes.
Yeah, I think speed can make up for bad strategy calls, that's for sure, but a great strategy call can overtake somebody with speed. Like you said, Brad K and Tom Wolfe did it for years with fuel strategy, winning races. And, I'm sure if you go back and watch over the last 20 years, you probably can count more than 50 wins just based on strategy calls. To where not the guy with the fastest car won, somebody pulling some crazy strategy. One of those being, Austin Dillon at Charlotte was somehow able to run an extreme amount of laps that nobody thought he was going to be able to run. And there he walked away with the Coke 600. So it just goes to show you that you really have to put together a complete race. And if somebody is putting together complete races and making great strategy calls, the only way you're going to beat them is to be fast. So, but right now, Kurt, speaking about being fast, Tyler Dohar is reeling in Tyler B. Even after that early slide through 1 and 2, he's cut it down about 1.5 seconds now over these last 10 laps. As the caution is out, Kurt, and I see the 34 car in turn 4 stopped on the track.
I'm not sure what happened there. I had a line that popped up showing a crash, but I think somebody just touched the wall. But then it looks like Brandon Watkins must have done it after him. So I was trying to pull it up to see what I could find, but we'll look at it right here as David Mayo was near him. I don't think he had contact, but we'll see what we can find out here. Oop, wrong driver. Back it up.
Looks like a self-spin and just barely touches those trash cans at the beginning of pit road.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything as far as contact or anything. It looks like he just went into the corner and started getting to the gas a little early, and that next-gen car's rear end just started sliding on him and coming around.
Yeah, he's got a pretty
Misses
good
the barrel,
crinkle
though.
on that right front, but I think that's going to be pretty easy to fix. I don't think that's going to be worthy of a fast repair.
Oh, we've got a lot of takers on pit road, Chad. A lot of guys coming down to grab their either first sets or second sets in some cases here, I think. But it looks like, if this is pointing correctly, David Mayo in the 35 is going to be our new leader. And Chad, we've seen this happen over and over and over in many different leagues where a guy will stay out on older tires and things like that, and it just does not do what they think it's going to do. They usually either spin the tires or they basically are a rolling roadblock because guys on fresh tires are just trying to get around them. But I don't know where this is going to end up, but David Mayo being our leader, first time out front.
Yeah, another strategy call occurred. That 22 of Blaney did not take tires. It was fuel only for him. So he's going to be another guy up there on the front row with old tires. I wouldn't be surprised. Looks like
Wondering if he
Johnny
took him last time.
Pasquale too. Yeah, I think they ran enough laps though where he's going to feel it. That's for sure. I think that front three is probably going to get eaten up pretty quickly. So these guys on these fresher tires are going to have to be smart, working their way through, not try to be over aggressive and cause something to where they have to use that fast repair this early in the race. But Kurt, with this caution right here, I pretty much guarantee now that everyone can make it to the end, as we're going to have less than 100 to go. I think from here, one stop gets you to the checkered flag, and probably you have a little left over if there was a green white. So, kind of takes the strategy out of it like right now, unless there's maybe a caution with say 60 to go.
I mean, that's if they're running just fifth gear, correct? Is what you're thinking? Because right now it
I
would be
was
95, 94. Am I
I
reading
was
that right?
told I was told that they were projected to get 55 without shifting into fifth gear. So fourth gear only, it looks to be about 55 laps, and it's probably a little more than that because obviously towards the end of that 55 laps, your pace is slowing down even more to where you're out of the gas longer. So I honestly think in fourth gear you probably can run 56, 57 easily. So right now, if you were to shift up into fifth gear, you could run longer, but you definitely ain't gonna make it to the end from here. So I think one stop gets everyone to the end.
I mean, we have. Am I reading that right? 94 laps to go?
Yeah,
And you think they could? Oh yeah, one stop. Okay, sorry. I
one stop.
thought you were saying they could make it to the end. I was like, I'm not. My math sucks. I know, but
One
I'm
stop.
not calculating here correctly.
Well, they're back racing, Kurt, and those guys on older tires were side by side. Tyler B, obviously the guy who was leading the field before that caution with fresh tires, working his way up through these slower cars on the old tires, is already looking under the 22 for that first place position. He's going to get it easily as they sail off into turn two.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a benefit for Tyler B starting up here closer to the cars on older tires. He needs to get going now. Get away from Tyler Dohart. Get him as far behind you as you can. Get as many cars as you can between you and him, because obviously Dohart has been one of the faster cars on the long run, as he was in turn down for what when we ran this race here. But Chad, there's another caution out of track. And I think this is going to involve the 32, the Nickelodeon.
Yeah, I see also the 49 kind of hanging out back there too. Not sure if he got a piece of that, but yeah, the 32 definitely involved.
We'll take a look back as we are looking for Sean Walton. I think. Yeah.
Ooh, got in deep going into turn three.
Yeah, just
That's about it.
clips the apron and turns it around.
Yeah, it looks like he drove it in. I wasn't expecting. I think it's a 25. Yeah, I wasn't expecting where he was braking, and just drove right into the back of him. Luckily, did not spin him. And then he went down to the apron, stayed on the apron, and of course that's extremely loose. Might as well drive this car on ice, and spun it. But luckily, no one else involved, and I don't even think the damage to him is going to be all that bad. So, fortunately for everyone, but I'm looking for this green flag racing crew. I want to see who's the guy to beat.
Yeah, I'm kind of wanting to see, who can take off, who can get away, who maybe has a short run, who has a long run car. We know Tyler B is fast on the short runs, usually is. He's come up with some long runs on a couple different tracks. We know Dohar usually has the long run car, and that's probably what he's looking forward to tonight. Austin Walton's sitting there as well. We know he's always had the short run, but kind of falls off towards the long run. Jason Blaney, same situation. Usually really, really fast on the short runs, runs out of tire usually on the long run. So I would like to see a good 30, 40 lap run here to see, who holds on to their car the longest. These guys on older tires, though, I'm sure they don't want to see that.
No, I don't know the strategy with staying out on that older set of tires. I get it. There was only probably about 15 laps on them, but 15 laps around here is probably costing you probably half a tenth or half a second. So I think those cars, once this thing does stay green, they're going to slowly, for surely fall back through the field. But Tyler B, quickly was able to get by all of them. Now he's up front, going to be leading the field to the green flag once we get back going. I think for Tyler B right now, Kurt, he's in a great position, obviously. Now he just needs to go out there and run a smart pace. I think there on that first longer run, he went out pretty quick, but then Dohar started to reel him in. So hopefully he learned right there that his pace was a little too fast, that he could back it down a little bit and then maybe stay more competitive with Dohar on the long run.
Yeah, and we've got 4 drivers, Chad, going for this championship, and they're all 4 still in the top 10 right now. We saw Ruiz have issues, but he is still in 7th. Murphy right there as well with Tyler Dohar. Murphy sitting there in 9th, Osborne 10th. So those 3 are going to have to try to catch up to Dohar, who's a few positions in front of him. But we've seen Dohar be the long-run car. I don't know what Chris or Jose or Osborne has on a long run because we have not seen it yet, and I did not see the practice last night. So I'm just going off of what I've seen Dohar do in the past here at Phoenix, where he usually does have a long run car. If that's the case tonight, those 3 have to show me something. They have to show up and get here and get to Dohar. You don't want Dohar to get out front and just lead this thing away, or if we continue to have cautions, be able to ride around out front conserving fuel. He's very, very good at conserving fuel. So the longer we sit under caution, the more laps he's conserving, and that mind of his is consistently recalculating his fuel, sounding like a GPS, just figuring out what he needs to do to get to the finish line. And he's contemplating, hey, if we continue to see cautions, can I make it on the to the end?
Oh, I'm sure he's starting to figure out, if we get a caution on this lap, can I make it? So he's already probably starting to compute that, as his mind seems to be a human calculator. But we're about to go green, Kurt. Hopefully we can stay green for more than a few laps. It's been kind of a caution fest here in these first 38 laps. Tyler B obviously gets a great jump, Kurt, on the 22, with that 22 being on older tires. He's going to stretch it out to about 3 car lengths as they head off into turn 2. Dohar, though, still stuck behind the 2 cars with older tires.
Yeah. I'm kind of wondering how quickly Dohar's going to try to make his way through here. He's getting underneath the 42 here, going into turn 3 and 4. Can he complete that pass and only have 1 car between him and Tyler B? But is Dohar really focused on leading this race, Chad, or is he just focused on the 3 drivers that he needs to beat tonight to get that trophy and become the Season 1 champion of Velocity Motorsports? If you're in Tyler's shoes right now, are you going for the win?
I think right now, it's still early in the race. We still, got at least, 2/3 of the race to go. But yeah, he's obviously, I think, keeping in mind, always looking at that scoring pylon that I'm sure he has up, of where those other 3 guys are, and what's the gap between him and those 3. But yeah, obviously, you want to win the championship by winning the final race. But if you can win it without having to win that final race, it's just as sweet because either way, you're lifting that trophy at the end. As Tyler Dohar looks underneath that 22 of Blaney as they sell off into turn 3. Blaney got loose coming off of turn 2, and that looks like that's going to be what's going to prevail. But he's fighting back now on the inside of Tyler Dohar.
Yeah, and I mean, those two have a little bit of a history. So, Blaney, Dohar, Murphy, Ruiz, all having contact last week, as well as other drivers between those two teams making contact with each other as well. So, does Blaney want to try to play spoiler? Tyler B right now is looking like the spoiler out here for one of these championship drivers, to where they cannot clinch this thing with a win. They got to pay attention to the other drivers and compete with the other drivers to stay in front of them. Obviously, if you come out here and you get the win, you win the championship. But if you're not the winner, you better make sure that you're as high up as possible to get this championship over the other drivers that are going for it. And, I mean, Ruiz is making quick work. He's made his way past Murphy, past Distant Quali, and he is now in 5th. So he is only sitting 2 positions behind, or 2 cars behind Tyler Dohar. So he's quickly coming up through here. Murphy's sitting in 6th. Osborne sitting 8th. So he's 2 spots up from 10th where he started on this restart. So these guys are quickly trying to get to the front and try to get it. I don't know who looks better right now. I would say Dohar maybe looks a little better than the other 3 just because he's been up here at front, and the other 3 have kind of had a battle. But Murphy, you know, he was sitting 2nd under the caution earlier when Dohar pit early. And he just hasn't made his way back into the top 3, but he's inching his way closer too.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell right now. We haven't had really a long run to find out if Murphy, Ruiz, Osborne, that's what they're running for. Maybe Dohar's pace is a little quicker to see if maybe they can reel him back in. As the 23 currently looking to the inside of the 22 Blaney Kurt as they go off into turn 2. Turn 2. Or turn 1. But yeah, right now, if I had to pick one, I'd say Dohar looks to be the best car out of the 4, but it's still really early, and I'm curious to see what these other 3 are doing right now. Track position is very huge. Them being like 5-6 cars behind Dohar, it's just more cars they have to pass when we go back green. So they need to get closer to them, get right behind them in case we have another restart. And then they can just sit there and wait and base their pace off of what Dohar is doing, as the 22 kart smacks the wall extremely hard there coming off of turn 2. And now the caution is out. And I'm wondering, it looks like, yes, it is that 22 of Jason Blaney who's stopped right now in turn 4.
And chat out, did you see who caused this one or who was involved with this one, so I can find a number here, because I'm not seeing any red
22 for
lines.
sure.
Okay, so Jason Blaney. All right, let me go find Jason here for the replay, and we'll see what we can find on Jason, what caused this. You said he smacked the wall, but that didn't bring out the caution, so I'm wondering.
Oh, yeah, he did smack the wall, come off a 2, and then sent it deep. Whew. Sent it deep going off into turn 3. Not sure, like, he's extremely low. There's no way he's making that turn. And just pretty much drives right up into the 81. Now, Osborne makes one heck of a save to not hit anything himself. But Blaney right now out there looking like a human wrecking ball.
Yeah, I'm going to back this up because it looked like, I don't know where Blaney hit the wall first. I seen him kind of scraping the inside wall, but then all of a sudden he just dove it in there, and I don't know if he just didn't have
he
control
smacked
or
it
something.
hard coming off of turn 2.
So we'll go a lap with Blaney here. Him and Ruiz were kind of battling there, and we could see him kind of wiggling. Murphy goes underneath him. He's trying to get back to Murphy, but I mean, Murphy didn't do anything there. If anything, it was just him and Ruiz battling. They didn't make contact or anything, just maybe he thought he owned that space that Ruiz went for. But Blaney hits the wall right there. and then kind of just rolls down the inside of the track. I don't know if maybe he broke the toe link, Chad. Could that be it?
It doesn't look like it. He just, is close to that inside wall and just drives it off into turn 3. And without being able to have any kind of arc, there's no way you're just going to hold the bottom the way he entered that turn. And he just pretty much goes straight up into Osborne and clips Osborne. Luckily, Osborne's able to save it, but Blaney does not and loops it. And I don't think anyone else was involved in that, but yeah, I looking at his car, it does not look like the tire's out of whack at all. So
I mean, in that
I'm
case,
not
Chad,
sure.
once you whack the wall like that coming out of turn 2 and he goes to the inside of the track, should he have tried to slow down, hit the brakes, knowing he's probably not going to make that turn into turn 3 and 4? I mean, if there's no car there with Osborne, he's going into the wall in 3 and 4, right?
Yeah, I think once you hit the wall like that and you got cars coming and you're entering that low into a turn, you pretty much got to back out of it earlier and just kind of, you know, accept your loss, especially knowing that you smacked the wall that hard. Your car probably isn't going to drive the greatest. So, I can't say what other drivers should do. I just know what I would do in that situation. That's pretty much back out of it and accept your losses and, you know, hopefully drive around until maybe there is a caution and come down and get that thing fixed. If not, just come down and get it fixed and um, pray that there is more cautions and you can get your laps back.
Well, Chad, I did not see very many guys come down pit road that time. But if you're looking at the top 5 right now, like I am, I'm seeing 4 playoff drivers going for the championship in the top 5. Tyler Dohar sitting second behind Tyler B., who's our current leader in that 88 UPS gold paint scheme. But Tyler Dohar is going to be sitting second, Chris Murphy third, Jose Ruiz fourth, and John Osborne fifth. So all 4 teammates that are vying for this championship are in the top 5 with each other.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about. They need to be close to him. They need to be able to put the pressure on Dohar and not let him just cruise around here on a Sunday drive. He needs to see his other competitors for this championship in his mirror or in front of him. And that way it makes him maybe have to use up his stuff. Now, Dohar is a great driver. Don't get me wrong. He knows what pace he needs to run, even if he sees guys pulling away from him. But at least they're right there now. Kurt, track position is not in his favor anymore. As we go back green curve, Belanger obviously gets a great jump. And Ruiz, being right behind the leader on the restart, gets a great jump too. He's looking to the inside of Tyler Dohar as they send it off into turn 2. I don't think he's going to be able to make that pass as Dohar's going to have the momentum up there in that second to third groove. But now we got all 4 teammates, Kurt, lined up, and all four of them are fighting for this championship.
Yeah, and I wish iRacing would fix this track. I know they updated it, to the new version of the track, but I wish they would fix these cars at least on this track because you can.
We got a
wreck with
spinner
the
in the
3.
back. Yep.
And I'll come back to what I was
just caught
saying
a
there.
glimpse of that.
Let's back this up because I know it's super quick on here, but I'll come back to what I was talking about there. But this I saw coming out of the background, the 3 going around through the dogleg here. And is there contact? I don't see any contact, is there?
No, just loses it, and he wasn't even on the apron, and he clips the 22 of Jason Blaney, who I think just used his fast repair from hitting the wall before the last caution. So now he's pretty much got the same damage once again.
Yeah, that's a rough one there. I'm not sure what happened, but he comes out of that dog leg and doesn't go down to the apron or nothing and just loops it. I thought maybe there was contact with the 12, but no, he just hard lefts it and gets sideways. There's nothing the 22 can do in that area of the track. So, whew. But that is our 6th caution of the night so far, Shab. We are 55 laps into this 125 lap race. We've got we're getting closer and closer here to halfway point. We'll be probably going back green at the halfway point or close to it. At this point, Chad, we're going to have about 65, 66, 67 laps to go. Are we within the full, ride it out on one tank of gas mode?
Well, right now we're sitting at 56 of 125. They should be going green around, I think, lap 59. So that would put it at 66 laps. Could
It
be
might be close.
doable if you go to fifth gear. It could be doable.
See, I know everybody
Not
kind of shifts down to fourth gear and everything. I rode this race in an official race and didn't even realize I was in an official race. Or actually, no, it was one of those like extended. I don't know if it was a road to pro race or whatever it was. One of those ones that's like 400 laps or 350 laps or whatever it was. I got into it by accident. I didn't even know that I clicked on it, it was that style of race. And I lasted the whole way, and I think I finished second or third. A lot of cars wrecked out eventually, but I never shifted. I stayed in fifth gear the whole time and conserved fuel pretty much the entire race. Rode around in the back and avoided a lot of incidents that were going on, and just kind of kept it in fifth gear. Is that a strategy that somebody could pull off? I don't think it's going to affect their speed that much, will it? I know you won't have maybe the acceleration coming out of the corner, but you're going to conserve fuel at the same time, won't you?
Yeah, I mean, some of these guys that are getting loose on exit, if you were in fifth gear, that would solve that problem. Obviously, lower RPMs, not as much, power going to that rear axle. And it not only would allow you to save fuel, but you're probably saving tires as well. Now, the only hard part with being in fifth gear is getting the car to slow down, entering these turns, and getting it to rotate. Obviously, if you're in the fourth gear, the high RPM, the car will slow down faster, allow you to rotate and get back onto the gas. But that's what people are having problems with right now. They're getting back on the gas and just looping these cars. Now, the three there, I don't know. I honestly don't know how he looped it going through the dog leg. Actually, on the track, I don't think I've ever seen that at this racetrack. Usually it's people are down on the apron and they loop it because of the transitions. But yeah, fifth gear, Kurt, you could definitely save fuel. Now, can you go 65 laps? I'm not quite sure. I don't know if anyone even practiced it. So we'll find out if anyone does it, and I wouldn't be surprised, Kurt, if that 77 is the one to try it.
That's what I was thinking. Is this falling into Dohar's hands with strategy? He's been the guy to, stretch fuel longer than anybody else. We're looking at right on the line essentially.
Did they pit though?
Tyler Dohar is on 9-lap old tires. He pit 9 laps ago and took fuel only. So, but we've had cautions. So I don't know. If we keep having cautions, I would say yes. They can make it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Caution laps. Obviously, it's more like a 2-to-1 ratio. As you know, 1 lap around here under cautions like 2 laps. So of saving pretty much. So I don't know. They might still be able to make it from where they're at with these caution laps. But back to the live racing, Kurt. Tyler B gets a great restart once again. Going to lead the field around. Tyler Dohar in second with Murphy, and then Ruiz behind him. The other fourth member of the championship, John Osborne, back to 6th place, not that far behind his other 3 teammates.
And I missed a comment apparently in the chat asking us to bring up Tyler B. We will do that next round of caution if we do have one. But the same person then said Tyler B to the rear of the field for touching the pace car. So, fortunately for him, the pace car is invisible. So, or not invisible, but
I think right now, if I'm Jason Blaney's crew chief, I might tell him to hit the pace car because that's about the only thing he hasn't hit out there right now. Just picking Jason Blaney, you're a great driver, but right now this track just doesn't seem to fit you. But yeah, Kurt, hopefully we go green. That would be nice, but if we do, we'll certainly bring up Tyler B and get his thoughts on this race.
yeah, so what I was talking about previously before that caution came out was I wish iRacing would fix this track with these cars specifically, because you can't run down like what we've seen in real NASCAR with these cars, where I've seen Kyle Busch go all the way to the inside wall through turns 1 and 2 by diving it down in there. We've seen Brad Kay miss the inside pit wall by inches on the dog leg and goes right against that in the inner wall from the inside pit road wall all the way around through the dog leg, and then goes into turn 1 and 2 on the bottom on the apron. Never touches the track until he comes out of turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, and I've tried to run that line around here in these cars, and it's you might as well be on ice skates.
Well,
Now,
that's what I'm
granted,
saying.
at
I wish iRacing would fix that.
at Darlington, I have ran under the dotted lines through like turns 3 and 4. The Harvick line that he ran so well at Darlington, where he's 2 lanes below where everyone else is, because everyone else is up by the wall, and he's below the dotted line, which used to be what everyone ran back in the early days of Darlington. Nobody ever wanted to get that close to the wall like they do now, but it would be nice if iRacing could somehow figure out either a setup or maybe just put more grip down there, and allow guys to run that line. And I'm sure we would see a ton of guys do that, if that was the case. But right now, it's right now it kind of drives like it does on old tires, to where when guys are on old tires around here in real life, you see them drifting up into that second or third groove. And obviously in real life, they have the PJ1 up there, which definitely helps. So, but yeah, I know what you're saying, and I wish they would fix that too, because it would be pretty cool to see people almost clipping either that orange box for the commitment cone, or getting close to those trash cans there at pit road entrance. But back to the live racing, Kurt. We got a 3-car breakaway, and 2 of them are championship drivers, as Tyler Dohar has not left his teammate Chris Murphy in the dust. Jose Ruiz has fallen off about a second behind Chris Murphy, but right now Murphy's kind of hanging on to his teammate and championship competitor, and they both are right there with Tyler B. We'll have to find out which one of these 3 has done the best job on saving tires, as it looks like, Kurt, we're starting to kind of get spread out. And this could be shaping up for a green flag run, hopefully.
Yeah, that would be really nice to get that 40, 50 lap run and really be able to test and see what these guys have on short run versus long run. Because right now we've seen a lot of short runs. And Tyler B, really, really fast, really, really quick on the short run. He did figure it out, like I said, in one race for the long run. I think it was Pocono or Indianapolis, one of those 2 tracks there, where he had really, really good long run speed. I think it was Pocono where he won. He beat Tyler Dohar to the finish line. But, I mean, if we continue to have cautions, Dohar usually doesn't have the short run. He's usually best known for the long run because of his strategy with saving tire and fuel. Murphy, kind of both sides of it. He's got some speed, and he's kind of figured it out with having Dohar and Ruiz and Osborne as teammates, where he's figured out those strategy calls. And Dohar has been like a captain to that foursome team, where he gives information, he helps his teammates, he provides pit strategies, he provides tire saving strategy, he helps them with their steering, entrance points into corners, exit speeds. Those things are things that he does throughout the entire season, and he's helped all of his teammates. Tonight, I asked him last week, will you help your teammates? And he said, oh, we're still going to operate as if it's normal. Chad, you and I both know I would not be giving away secrets at a track where I'm determined if I want to win this championship, I can't give my teammates every bit of information that I normally do. And I don't know if he is or not, but Chris, if he is, Chris is using it. If he's not, Chris has found something at this track.
Well, the best thing for Chris right now, as we see Tyler B get loose coming off of turn 2, that's going to bring Tyler Dohar to the outside of him as they go off into turn 3. That's not what Dohar wants to be. You don't want to be stuck on that outside for too long. As you see Murphy now
gonna dive under.
Yeah, he's getting a great run. And then Dohar tucks in behind him. Dohar realized, I don't want to be on that outside and let Murphy get by me. But yeah, back to your point. I think Dohar probably might have mentioned these guys like, hey, what I'm running, like as far as the steering ratio, maybe the brake bias, offset, anything like that. But is he helping him, like saying this is where my braking and turning points are, this how much I'm getting on the gas or the brakes, anything like that? Probably not. Because if you give away everything, then it doesn't take somebody long to learn what you're doing or figure it out. And I think that's kind of what Murphy's doing right now, being able to ride behind Dohar like this. He's learning. He is learning what Dohar's doing. He's learning how Dohar is the way he is on the long run around here. And he's sticking right with him as of right now. And Jose Ruiz coming back into the picture as well, as he's starting to close the gap on these front three. And then, Kurt, if you look back, fifth place, Jason Blaney, the man that's been involved in like
I don't know
3
how he's driven
accidents.
up through this field like this.
Yeah, has had that car banged up. I think he used a fast repair, and then ended up in the wall again and had to pit for a while. But there he is, sitting about 2 seconds back of this front four. And the guy I'm surprised about, Kurt, John Osborne, 7th place right now, as Dohar looks to the inside, Kurt. Not gonna make it happen. I don't think he probably liked going down there too much. It looked like that car got a little sketchy going from the banking to the flatness the first time. But yeah, John Osborne, Kurt, fast in practice, won the practice race, was fast. You know, everyone was saying he might be the guy to beat. Hasn't really been up there besides, when the cautions came out, and he's 7.5 seconds back right now with 50 laps to go. That is a ton of time trying to make up. As Dohar, Kurt, clips the apron going through 2 and gets loose.
Oh, it looks like Ruiz is going to be involved in this too, Shad. We'll take a look
Yeah,
back. I just clicked to Osborne.
A ton of damage on that car. As they're still wrecking behind him. I think the 32 just went around.
And that's the risk you take with these next-gen cars, Shad. And Ruiz, one hell of a save there, a miss. He barely missed Dohar as he was spinning across there. I hope.
Well, no damage on Dohar, actually.
Yeah, he barely missed him. I hope Ruiz did not hit the pit cone line there.
Look, I thought first when I looked at Dohar's car from the back, it looked like a ton of damage, but it just must have been the angle. But looking at Ruiz's car, it looks pretty clean as well. I don't think he hit anything.
No, he didn't touch the wall. He was close. I thought maybe he went through the pit line to where he then came back out on track, and he usually will throw a black flag on you for doing that, but it looks like he missed it. So
no, he did go across the commitment line and came back out on track. They might probably clear that. Yeah, I would clear that if I was the admins, as obviously he's trying to avoid a wreck. But yeah, neither one of them touched anything. Great avoidance by all the other drivers that were coming up on that. And now I just heard Tyler B overshot his box pitting, Kurt, and that's gonna bring the lead to the 7 as far as fresh tires, but the 35 car did stay out.
Well, don't forget to bring up Tyler B so we can satisfy these guys out in chat. I'm getting a lot of messages saying Tyler B, Tyler B, Tyler B to bring him up into the booth. So we will get Tyler B up in here and talk to him about this race so far. Tyler B, we got somebody out in the chat basically just flooding the chat with requests for you to come up into the booth. And I believe it's Mild Gooses really wants you to be up here. So how's the race going for you? You've been the fastest car at the front. You've been leading a lot of laps. You got past there for a second, and then we've had caution now come back out. How are you feeling about tonight's race? I know you're under the weather a little bit, so how are you feeling as well?
All right, I'm all dosed up on medicine, but feeling really good. I've led the most laps. Even when they spun out behind me, I was still out in front of them after battling side by side with Dohar after I about spun it coming out of 4 or whatever you call that turn here. But feeling pretty good. I literally got 5 laps in of practice before the race. Didn't expect to be doing anything tonight. And then I've come out and been super fast. So Ruiz and Dohar, that was a big deal for them. I overdrove my box there in the pits, allowed Murphy to get back past me, but I feel like I can get around him pretty easily. I'll have to be careful. He's racing for the championship, and I'm not, so I'll be careful with him. But I feel pretty good about my chances tonight. I'd love to, steal one from these guys.
Chad, any questions for that 88?
Yeah, Tyler B, I noticed on that first kind of long run that we had there at the beginning of the race, you went out, got like a 2-second lead when Dohar drifted through 1 and 2, and then he kind of reeled you back in. Did you learn right there what pace you need to run, as that long run right there, you were looking very good, holding on to the lead that you had. And, they weren't really gaining on you.
I don't think I changed too much, honestly. Just the first run, I had a few more mistakes while I was trying to figure out the track. But yeah, we'll see what we can do this time. Long run feels good, short run feels good. So
All right, well, Tyler, good luck on this race. Go out there and steal one of these guys, this win from one of these championship drivers, and end this season on a good note for you. Shad, send him back down to his team as we're 1 to green. We'll get back going and get these guys fired off. Shad, there's a guy up front with older tires. We've seen this happen over and over and over. Murphy starting on the outside. He's going to be probably in a good spot here as we go back green through the restart zone. Oh, and he does not get going. He's late on the gas pedal.
Yeah, it's just the outside line has just not gone on any of these restarts. I don't know if it's they can't really see the leader to be able to judge when he takes off or be able to hear it. But yeah, nobody really on the restarts has been able to really hang with the leader or kind of hang on to second place, that is. But yeah, Kurt, back to the championship drivers. Osborne, Murphy now are the guys to be watching for, as they're both now going to be probably... Oh, as Tyler B gets loose, Kurt, going through the dog leg. And that's going to hand the lead over to Chris Murphy.
And I think Tyler
Same
B's got a
spot.
broken left toe link, Shad. His left front is not spinning, and it is pointed to the right. So Tyler B is going to be coming down pit road, and he is going to go multiple laps down as we are under green still, Shad. No caution coming out for that. So he's going to go multiple laps down. Fastest car of the night, front runner. The entire the race has led the most laps, and unfortunately 88 going to be out of this race, Shad, as it looks like.
Yeah, he spun in the
We got
same
another
spot
one going
as...
on the back. I think that's the 35 of David Mayo, who was just sitting on the front with a 12. And I don't think this is going to bring out a caution either, Shad.
Yeah, they're still rolling, so I don't think it's going to bring out the caution. Probably shouldn't. They kept her going. But yeah, Tyler B, 1 lap down right now. If he can hurry up and get that thing fixed, he might be able to get out in front of these guys. It doesn't... Oh, it's a 35 now, Kurt. Stopped on track. Not sure what's going on there.
Well, that's going to... nope, he towed.
He towed it. And I just
12
heard
was
over
limping
comms,
around.
Kurt, that the 88 got an unsafe pit entrance somehow. And now the 12 is going... Oh, 12 down on the apron. Okay.
Yeah, 12 and 35 made contact there, so 12 is going to have to go down pit road. But he was able to limp it around.
Yeah, that pretty much eliminates Tyler B.
Oh,
Oh, it's
another
now
one.
Tanner White is loose coming off of turn 2 and smacks the inside wall.
And I don't know if
Oh
this
my
is going to bring out a caution either. Tanner White keeping it going. And I don't see any of the tires pointing in the wrong direction, but he does have a little bit of smoke there, or that was the bottom of the car bottoming out, but he's going to wind up having to come down pit road. If I was him, I'd just keep her going, because these guys have been spinning off this turn 2 more and more as these guys keep going. And maybe a caution will come out and he'll be able to get that thing fixed and stay on the lead lap here. But he's going to go down pit road. That's going to put him down multiple laps too.
Wow, just absolute mayhem happening right now in these final 50 laps. But everything right now benefiting that 7 car of Chris Murphy, though.
And look who's right behind him.
He does have Blaney, though, right behind him, who did make contact with the 7 last week at Homestead and about turned the 7. If I'm Chris Murphy right now, I'm giving him a ton of room and letting him go, and maybe, catching him later on, because I think Blaney's out there running a pace that's probably burning his stuff off. But right now, Murphy...
Blaney's maybe listening to the broadcast, because I think he heard you say that this track is not a track suited for him, and he drove from the back of the field all the way through.
Yeah,
to
and
get
that front right
now.
still got a hell of a dent in it, and he's been able to drive through the field. Now, is he burning up his tires while everyone else is saving, and that's why he is making his way through? But either way, Kurt, he's up front. Great for him. Thank you for making me look like a liar, Jason Blaney. But Chris Murphy, Kurt, sitting in the catbird seat right now, as he's got 1.3 over the next championship driver. as we have 37 to go, Kurt, and Tyler Dohar's about 3.5 seconds behind his teammate who's leading this championship for right now. Tyler Dohar, obviously, with that spin, had to start at the back of the pack and has to work through all this traffic, plus burning up his tires to get there. Bodes well right now for Murphy and Osborne.
Ruiz ain't too far off either. He's sitting in 6th. So, I mean, he's kind of waiting back here, too. If Dohar really wants to get up front and burns off his stuff, Ruiz could be sitting here waiting to pounce on those front 3 as well.
Oh, for sure. And, you know, Jose Ruiz, obviously knowing the payout bracket. 4th place money, 3rd place money. I'm taking 3rd place money, so he could put up a heck of a fight against his teammate for that position. But right now, Kurt, Murphy's looking pretty good. Still got about 1.2 over John Osborne, but Austin Walton, Kurt, making a charge as he's now up into P3, looking pretty strong and actually gaining on the 7 of Murphy. But there's still 34 laps to go. I think Murphy's out there running a pace that he knows will get him to the distance or the end and allow his car to still be pretty strong once we get there.
Yeah, I mean, Jason Blaney's kind of checked out right now. He's out to almost a 1.5 seconds in some parts of the track in front of Murphy. Murphy, I think, learned a lot riding behind Tyler B and Tyler Dohar there, so he's kind of just continuing that same pace that he was running with those 2, and it was paying off for all 3 of them as they had stretched out their lead over 4th place. Do I think Jason Blaney's going to be able to hold on to this car if we continue to go green?
Caution, Kurt, caution.
I was going to say, I just saw Brandon Watkins popped up red.
Yeah, 32 and 34, I think, are both involved in that one. Oh, pace car out there just hauling the mail.
I'm trying to get to the 34 here spinning. I see Dohar went around him. The 32 is coming up behind him. 34 is going through the start stripe. Goes down, almost touches the dog leg, comes back up. Gets a little loose right there. You can see the back end start to come out a little bit. Starts to correct it. Wiggles coming out of turn 2. I think he's got his hands full on this. Going through 3 and 4. You see it's sliding on him. You can see the wheels turning on it.
Yeah, riding on board, he's in 4th gear. I think a lot of these guys that are having this problem of getting so loose.
32 almost missed it too.
Yeah, if you were to be in 5th gear, as soon as he gasses it going through 2 and turns 1 and 2, that car just automatically starts to spin. And I think it's just a product of being in 4th gear on old tires. I think if I'm one of these guys, I'm maybe switching to 5th gear just so I can at least run around here without spinning.
I'm surprised more guys aren't using 5th gear. I mean, like I said, I used 5th gear only. And I know a lot of guys use 4th gear. They shift down. They get, the little bit more wheel speed. But that's the problem with this track, clearly, is the wheel speed. So I would quit shifting at this point. It seems to be it's going to be a survival of the fittest and survival of the most fast repairs by the looks of it, because everybody keeps spinning out. Now, some guys haven't made contact with anything. Some guys have made contact with the walls. Some guys have made contact with other drivers, which then puts them in harm's way for using that fast repair as well. I would quit shifting. I would stay in 5th gear. I know that the fuel mileage is going to be stretched a little bit, as it looks like Murphy is on 19 laps right now. We've got 30 to go, so 49 laps. So he should be in the green for sure to make it.
My question is
went down pit road that time.
My question is Dohar. How many laps does he have?
Dohar is on 17 lap old tires.
Okay, so that's not too much of a gap.
Yeah, I think he spun right after they had pitted, and they had done the restart with Jose right there with him when he spun. So
yeah, so Murphy, obviously Blaney pitted. Murphy's going to inherit the lead over Austin Walton. And then he's going to have his teammates of Osborne and Dohar lined up behind him with another teammate and championship competitor of Louise on the outside of the second row. Now, it bodes well for Murphy as he's going to be the control car. He's going to get the jump. We've seen everybody on the inside line get that jump. And then the guy that we think has got probably the best car of Dohar, he's got to battle two other championship competitors before he even gets a chance at Murphy. Murphy just needs to make sure he does not make any mistakes, hit his marks.
Yeah, and Tyler B just entered the chat out there saying zero reason why we should be having this many of us lose it by the dog leg without actually using the dog leg.
Yeah,
I can agree. Like I said, iRacing needs to fix this track with this specific car. With the Xfinity cars and the trucks, you can use the dog leg. It doesn't do what it does with the next gen. To me, it bottoms the car out, and it just, when it hits, it like puts pressure or lifts the car up a little bit, and those tires just spin around. And if you're not using the dog leg, to me, it just, I don't know if it's the weight distribution. I don't know if it's the way the cars are towed. In iRacing for this specific track, it just doesn't work well with this track. I don't know what it is. I really wish iRacing would fix it. To me, it's been this way since they updated the track and implemented these next-gen cars. Now, they've made adjustments to the next-gen cars for other tracks and other style of racing. They just haven't fixed this track for some reason.
Yeah, I think what a lot of it is that rear diffuser. I think it bottoms out transitioning from the banking to flatness of the dog leg, and it just upsets the cars. And I think right now it's even upsetting them, even if you stay on the track. But then again, I see a lot of cars staying on track, making it through there just fine. So I do not know why cars staying on the actual racing surface through this dog leg are getting so loose. I've never seen that at this track.
Oh, and Austin Walton
stay on the
going up into
racing
the wall,
line.
Shad. Just smashed the wall in turns 3 and 4 there, or 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think he actually smacked the wall coming out of 2 the previous lap, so he may have some handling issues going on with that car. But yeah, back to my point, I just honestly don't know why cars are spinning on the track surface going through the dog leg. I've never seen that. But you know, back to the race car, Chris Murphy's still hanging onto a gap over his 2 teammates and championship competitors of Osborne and Dohar. Dohar is hounding Osborne, trying to figure out a way to get around him, but so far he has not figured it out, and Osborne looks to be pretty good on exit of these turns, and it's allowing Dohar to not be able to get to the inside of him really where he needs to be, and Murphy is kind of stretching it a little bit as we're coming to 23 to go, Kurt, this time by.
Yeah, and I mean, was last night a preview? I mean, we didn't have the pleasure of watching last night's practice race, but Osborne said he won that practice race, and a lot of guys had wrecked out of the practice. Tonight, we're seeing a lot of guys wreck out and have issues with spinning or the dog leg or just the car itself at this track, and we haven't seen Osborne go around, from those issues. So, is he just surviving and trying to stay on track as long as he possibly can? And Dohar's trying to get up here, but, I mean, when you're conserving also trying to baby the car, you're conserving tire, you're conserving fuel. I don't know if Osborne's shifting. I haven't gone inside of his car, but we can do that real quick and see if he is shifting. There he is in 5th gear, going through turns 1 and 2. Not shifting. Or wait, no, that's Dohar, sorry. All right, so Osborne is in 4th gear. Going through 3 and 4. And he's not shifting into 5th, and he's not shifting down, so he's not having those problems, but I feel like he's in 4th gear for a long time around this track. Now, is that burning his fuel? Do they have enough gas for sure? He is on 28 lap run, and we've got 20 to go, so he should be good.
Yeah, and Dohar staying in 5th gear now.
Dohar just got past multiple places.
Yeah, multiple positions there. He went down to the dog leg, went onto the apron and tried to get around his teammate of Osborne. The car got extremely loose, making that first transition. He had to actually get out of the throttle there for a second. And then, obviously, with the tight entrance going into turn one. He lost the exit speed going down the straightaway and got passed by 2 cars, one of them being that 22 of Blaney, who they had problems last week. Well, at least Blaney's teammate had problems with Dohar last week. Luckily, none of that has carried over. I'm glad these guys can at least not be that kind of, race cars. But that 42 of John Dispasquale, Kurt, looking pretty strong, making a move now for P2, and he's bringing Blaney with him.
Yeah, Dispasquale's been kind of surprising here. He's been in a couple different incidences and still worked his way up. Same as Blaney. Both have been in more incidences than pretty much anybody else besides maybe the 35 or 32. And they're both sitting here in the top 5. I don't know. Blaney has gone to the back, to the front, to the back, to the front, to the back, to the front. So to me, that looks like he has maybe one of the best cars on short runs. We are in the long run
Well,
here.
he does have fresh tires.
Yeah, he does have fresh tires, but...
And I think Dispasquale, sorry we're butchering your name. I think he's also got fresh tires.
Yeah, now you got me saying it.
Yeah.
Dispasquale is...
I've heard people say it 2 different ways, so I'm not sure actually how it's pronounced, but...
Yeah, both of them are on 14-lap-old tires, so both of them have the freshest tires in the top 5 or even in the top 10, really. I mean, could the 42 come out here and steal a win at the end of the season? Could the 22 get his second win of the season, become our only second multi-winner? Both of them, I mean, I would love to see any one of them come out here. They're on track and get this 42 bounces it off the wall there coming out of turn 2. Johnny moves to the lead, Chad.
Yeah, I think Chris was kind of being smart there. He realized those guys were on fresher tires, are faster. Instead of trying to sit there and battle him and let Osborne really close in on him, he let them both kind of go and tucked in back behind him. Now, those 2 are both going to pull away. All he needs to worry about is staying where he's at. Those 2 finished for 1-2. He finishes 3rd. He wins this championship and that trophy and the money to go with it. Tyler Dohar kind of backed off a little bit from these 2. Not sure if he's maybe trying to let his tires cool back down as Osborne scrapes the wall just a little bit going across the start-finish line. Not going to be nothing terrible there, but I think Dohar backed off his pace curve to those tires, and maybe he's going to make another run at this. As it looks like he's starting to kind of close back in on the 81, and he's bringing the other contender for this championship, 23 of Jose Ruiz, with him.
I mean, there's 4 championship drivers nose to tail from third all the way to 6th. So, yeah, like you said, first and second doesn't really matter to these guys. It's only their finishing positions between each other. So, doesn't matter if they finish 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoever wins the race wins. It doesn't matter if they finish second through fifth, or 3rd through 6th, or even if they go down to the bottom and we have them fighting for last place. Does not matter. It's whoever finishes in front of the other ones. And right now, Murphy has 13, now 12 laps to go, Shad, as we're getting closer and closer to this finish line here. I don't know who it's going to be. Murphy seems to be set up in the right spot. We haven't seen a caution here for a few laps, at least 19 of them. Not that I want to jinx it to have a caution come out, but I don't know who's got it. They're all 4 kind of staying within each other, and they're not, really making up a ton of time on each other. I'm looking at the lap times right now. Fastest car on the track is Johnny Dispasquale. Jason Blaney right off of his time, and actually Murphy's fastest. Nope. Now that Jason Blaney just moved back to being the fastest car on track, but Murphy not too far off of his lap time. And Dohar, Osborne, and Ruiz are a little off of Murphy's time.
So it's a split strategy between these 4 teammates and 4 contenders. Murphy, Osborne staying in 4th gear. Ruiz, Dohar staying in 5th gear. I've been watching Dohar, been riding on board with him. He's trying to drive it in so deep going off into turn 1. His car gets extremely loose that time by going through turn 1. His car wiggled and he had to make those hands go left and right to save it. It allowed the 23 of Jose Ruiz to get by him, so now moved Jose Ruiz into 5th, Dohar into 6th place, and Dohar is about 3/10 now behind Ruiz. But Murphy's stretching it out again over Osborne, Kurt. 9 laps to go. Osborne's looking like the car to beat out of these 4 right now, and he's in 4th gear.
Yeah, and I mean, Murphy, he is trying to stretch it a little bit, and he is closing in a little bit on Blaney and the 42, but I mean, I don't know. Murphy and Osborne staying in 4th gear scares me because of the wheel speed that they're getting in that gear. It also kind of scares me for Ruiz and Dohar staying in 5th gear because they're not getting the added acceleration coming out of the corner by doing that, but they're also not, they shouldn't be getting as loose. But you just stated Dohar got loose coming out of the corner, so
Well,
this
he's
track
entering.
just,
Entering the corner.
22
got
loose again, hits the inner wall, comes back up on the track, right
Oh my
in front of
God.
Osborne, Ruiz, and Dohar. No caution out on track, but
No,
wow, did they
please.
just have missed that?
Please stay green.
Whew, that was
Wow.
close.
I thought for sure he was coming up right in front of 81 of Osborne. Osborne made one heck of a avoidance of that. Didn't really lose much time either to the 7 of Chris Murphy. Now, Ruiz did lose a little bit of time to Osborne, and Dohar, I think, lost a little bit too. But right now, Kurt, as we're coming to 7 to go,
No, 6 to
Murphy's got, 6 to go now as it crossed the line. Murphy's got a 1.8 second lead over Osborne, the next championship driver.
This is Murphy's to
Murphy's
lose here for the championship, but
Yeah.
42, I don't want to take anything away from Johnny because this would be his first win of the season, and he has had a ton of different tracks, Chad, that we've seen him have issues with. We've seen him have issues tonight where he's spun multiple times. He's been in multiple incidents tonight, causing a couple cautions, and he's out here leading this race and possibly going to win it over the championship drivers who all have wins besides Osborne. And Dohar, being our regular season points winner, top points for the playoffs, goes into the race tonight with being the top driver, even though they're all even. It doesn't really matter because they all just got to do the finishing order, and he might be 4th.
Yeah. I mean, Murphy is gaining some time on the 42 as we're coming into 4 to go this
doesn't
time
need
by
to, though.
Kurt. Yep. If I'm him, I don't, unless my teammates really start gaining on me. But yeah, back to Johnny D is what I'm just going to call him so I stop butchering his last name. This is what's great about this sport. Johnny D, we've seen him all season long struggle, get involved in wrecks after wreck. And then he comes to a track where everyone is
Not
wrecking.
all his fault, by the way. We're going to
and-
make sure we point that out.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying they're all his fault. But yeah, now we come to a track where everyone's wrecking. The guy that dominated most of this season, Tyler Dohar, is struggling, it looks like. And Johnny D comes to a track like this, and he could possibly walk away with the win. It's what's so great about NASCAR,
Murphy
what's
is
so great
closing in,
about
Chad.
iRacing.
We've got 3 to go.
Yeah.
Coming to 2 to
He's-
go. I don't think Murphy
he's-
will get there, but he is closing in.
I think if Murphy gets there, he does not pass him. I honestly do. Why risk it? You know, you get loose, or the guy you're passing gets loose.
Or the guy
He-
you're passing says, I
Yeah.
want this win, and gives you the bump.
Yeah, he's got 1.2 seconds over John Osborne right now, and we're coming to 1 to go. He's not really there to make the pass. He's still, a half a second behind Johnny D. So right now, Murphy, stay where you are, buddy. You're gonna walk away with this championship.
We come to 1 to go. White flag in the air, Shad, here for Velocity Motorsports season-ending championship race. And a driver that we did not see coming, Chad, is going to be out here in front with the 42 of Johnny D right now with Chris Murphy trying to run him down, but Murphy doesn't have to. Murphy is that championship driver with the 3 championship teammates right behind him going for this as well as we go through 3 and 4, final turn. 42 is going to be coming around. Wins the race at Phoenix. Johnny D gets his first win of the season. Chris Murphy will be crowned our champion at the end of this. But, big props to the 42, Shad. He's been involved in 2 incidents tonight. Comes back around through this thing through multiple cautions. Gets some easy passes because of pit roads and stuff like that people decided to take for strategies, and works his way up here. Takes the lead on a pit strategy coming down 31 laps ago, 18 lap fresher tires than our championship 4 that finished 2nd, 3rd, and 4th and 5th, Shad. So Crazy. This was very, very exciting. We will come back for the top three, which will involve our champion being involved in that, Chad. So we'll talk to those three. I'm going to try to focus on those two for their burnouts because I'm assuming Murphy will do a burnout for his championship. But we'll be right back. right, we are back for KS Game Broadcasting's Burnout Lane, and we're going to be talking to the top 3 finishers of the night, and one of them happens to be our champion, so we'll talk to him about the race and his new championship for Season 1 here at Velocity Motorsports. But, Shad, we've got a newcomer in Victory Lane, our 5th different winner of the season, Johnny D. We're going to call you Johnny D from now on because both of us keep butchering your last name, and I know I've heard it multiple different ways. I think Shad's heard it multiple different ways, so maybe you can correct us or give us some sort of pronunciation, but I know we've butchered it enough. But congratulations on your first win of the season. Just a magnificent, great strategy call. 18-lap fresher tires than the front 5, and you and Blaney drove right up through there, and Blaney lost it couple laps before the finish line there. Didn't bring out the caution, luckily, and I think the other guys behind you all had to do a massive job to avoid the 22 spinning across the track. But you bring this thing home. You clinch out the season with a win, your first win of the season. How does this feel, and how did you do it?
I have no idea, man. I'm so bad at Phoenix. It's even since like the Dirt to Daytona game, I've struggled at Phoenix. I just can never get the hang of this place. I never thought in a million years I would win this race. I haven't thought about not even racing tonight. It's just, yeah, it's incredible. Happy for Christopher. He was obviously deserving to be the champion. And yeah, there at the end, it seemed like the last few weeks, any strategy that me and my team did was the wrong one. And I was just waiting that whole last run there. I was just waiting for the caution to come out, and I knew everybody else had a set of tires left and we would be screwed. But yeah, thankfully it didn't come out and I was able to get a win. It's just insane.
Well, how does this set you up for next season? There was a couple of people out in the chat saying that you will be a contender next season, that you've improved a ton this season, and they have watched you come through, and here you are getting that first win. So what does this do for you as far as confidence or just a shot in the arm or anything like that for next season going into Season 2?
Oh, for sure. It's a huge confidence boost for me. I've only had iRacing for about a month and a half now, maybe going on 2 months. I've raced
started the season then.
Yeah. My first race was Kentucky, I think. I had only had iRacing for about a week and a half at
So
that
our
point.
opening
So
race was your first race on iRacing.
I was really struggling, but every lap, every week I'm learning and I feel like I'm getting better. And I never thought in a million years I'd be able to, run up there with those filter time guys. But obviously the 18-lap fresher tires, I think, helped. And I saw Christopher was gaining on me there at the end, man. My hands were shaking. I was holding my breath, just hoping that I could hold him off. But yeah, I think if he had a few more laps, he might have been able to get me. But yeah, I'm really happy to be here, man. It's awesome.
Well, Shad, any questions for our first-time winner in this 42 comes away with a win tonight?
Oh, well, Johnny, obviously, congrats on getting your first win of the season. Yeah, so, you pit with Blaney, both of you get the fresh tires. You guys work your way up through the field. You both passed Chris Murphy, who it looked like gave you guys plenty of room. And I think he knew, like, he didn't need to finish first. Then you got the 22 all over you. How nervous and how sweaty are those palms right now as you had him behind you and then you closing on those closing laps coming to that start, that checkered flag?
Yeah, my hands are still shaking a little bit. I'm starting to calm down now, but I was nervous, man. I knew that Jason was gonna be good to me. He's a great teammate. All my teammates are so good to me. Every week I show up, I have no clue what I'm doing at these racetracks, and Jason and John Tiller and Nathan Line and Wesley Jeanette have been helping me out so much every single week. They're all awesome teammates, and I knew that he would be nice to me, but I think he was faster and he would have passed me if he had the opportunity, I think. But then when he got loose there, I can't believe he didn't bring out a caution. Kudos to all the guys behind him and him for not bringing out the caution. Had there been a caution there, I would have dropped like a rock. So yeah, that was the changing moment for sure when he kind of got squirrely and then at that point I thought, all right, just hit your marks. I got fresher tires than anybody. I'm good. And then all of a sudden I looked up and I saw Christopher coming. So then I was nervous again, but yeah, again, this is by far my worst racetrack. I cannot believe that I won that.
Then one more follow up, Johnny, is you've had iRacing now for a month and a half, which is remarkable that you just got a win against guys that have been on here for years. One of them being Tyler Dohar. Chris Murphy's been on here for a while. John Osborne as well. You know, you go out here and you get a win like that. I think it shows you, man, that next season you put in the time, practice, learn these tracks, get more familiar with this car. You can be a contender. And is that what you're kind of feeling going for next season?
Well, I mean, I certainly hope so. I'm gonna spend, like, I think a lot of people struggled here tonight. This car just drives unlike anything I've ever driven before on a game. So every track is a new set of challenges. So yeah, I mean, I feel like I can be a contender, but there's multiple tracks that I still have yet to run at that we may run at this next season. So I got to try to hopefully when the schedule comes out, I just got to start going through them. I just need laps. That's all I need. And I even see it like in the beginning half of the race, I might run back in the teens, but then in the second half of the race, I start working my way up a little bit. I just need laps. That's all I need. So I know me and the boys will be running some practice lobbies and stuff, I would imagine, this off season. And yeah, I just need laps. That's all I need.
Well, I can tell you right now, I've had a peek at this season 2 schedule, and it's not going to be easy for a lot of you guys. So you guys better put time in. There's a lot of tracks on here where I'm like, ooh, this is going to be entertaining for us up in the booth. A lot of short tracks mixed in, some difficult, not cookie cutter style tracks. So it's going to be a rough one for you guys if you guys don't put the time in. And I mean, to Shad's point, you've been on now for a month and a half. We've gone through a full season. First race of the season for you was Kentucky, which was our opening race. And I mean, this is what you've come up with after a month and a half, 2 months of being on iRacing. You get your first win in the league that you've been running here since you started, and in a short while, you've now gotten a win. Only like 4 of the drivers this season, I think. Dohar, Ruiz, Murphy, Blaney, Tyler B, and now you. So 6th driver to get a win this season. So you're in short company with guys who've been able to get wins this season. So congratulations again. Hands down, awesome race. You had multiple issues, were involved in a couple incidents, and the great pit strategy pulls it out, and you walk away ending the season as the winner at Phoenix. So congratulations again. Any big shout-outs for you? I know you got a lot of teammates. I know you got some sponsors out there and things like that for Fueled Up Motorsports.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I said, Fueled Up Motorsports. I'm so lucky to have those guys in my back pocket. I mean, without them, I would be so much more lost than I am already to begin with. Yeah, they're great. Venue Radio. I don't really know even how to change the setup or not the setup, the paint scheme. So I've had Venue Radio on my car since I started, and yeah, I'm just really, really happy to be here, man. We got GoPro, Skull Candy, Admin Box. I'm trying to go through the list here. Just all the guys that help us out and that get here every week. And you guys also for putting on the race. I know it's a lot to go through every single week, and we really appreciate it. I mean, I got family members that watch these races. So yeah, they really appreciate you guys doing this.
Well, we definitely appreciate you guys putting on the show you guys do week in and week out. Appreciate the family and friends coming out to watch you guys. It's definitely fun for us up here. Definitely an entertaining season, and I can't wait to see what season 2 brings. So, like I said, one more time, congratulations to the 42 of Johnny D, bringing home the first victory of the season. And we're going to move up to none other than our champion for season 1, Chris Murphy, bringing it home second tonight. Chris, just a fantastic season. You open it up this season with finishing 3rd, I believe. And then you have Kentucky, or you have throughout the rest of the season, you get that win in the season. You beat out Dohar for it, which is obviously, I mean, we keep bringing up Dohar, but that's 5 wins doesn't really give you much room. So you guys being able to beat him out, you, Jose, and now Johnny, Jason Blaney, Tyler B, all being able to beat him out, it says something for you guys going into season 2. I've known you for quite a while, raced against you, called races with you in it on multiple leagues. I'm very, very happy and proud to see that you are now the champion of season 1 for Velocity Motorsports. Give us a rundown of your race and just the emotions or anything like that you're feeling.
I'm shocked. I could not believe that I was able to hold off my team. I mean, Tyler's so good, and then John, he was so fast in the practice races and that sort of stuff. And Jose is always, a sneaky in the back. You don't really see him, and then all of a sudden he's there with fresher tires than you, and he just blows your doors off. So this race here, I was just trying to keep it smooth, trying not to burn up my stuff. I was really, really fast in practice on the short run, but I just could not keep the tires under me. So I really just tried to back up my entry. I followed Dohar around for a while, learned his line, saw where he was kind of getting into the gas. So that kind of helped. And then, of course, I wanted to make sure I did not speed on pit road. So naturally, I sped on pit road. Luckily, it was on exit, so it was only an end of the line penalty. But it wouldn't be this season without a speeding penalty for me. And then at that last run there, I knew there was guys with fresh tires. When the rest of my team didn't pit, I was pretty confident that I was going to be able to hold them up or hold them off. So I just let those two go, and I just wanted to maintain my gap to John. And when I saw Blaney start to get loose, I thought, hey, I might be able to actually win this here. And I was catching Johnny. I thought maybe in like 2 more laps, I probably would have been able to, put some real pressure on him. But huge congrats to Johnny on his first win. It's amazing that he's made this progress in such a short amount of time. I'm just so happy. It's just so cool.
I mean, this was a short season, Chris. It's a first season. They didn't, pack this thing in with a 20-plus race season like you see a lot of leagues do. They shortened this thing up. It's got a weird playoff schedule that I think kind of ramped up the adrenaline and the energy because it was winning it was win or get enough points in each one of these first 2 races to make it to this championship. Luckily, some of you guys in that top group had wins to fall on with those plus 3 points for those wins, so it definitely helped you guys. But you guys had great finishes all the way through the playoffs, and obviously you bringing home the win tonight, your second win of the season, our only second multi-winner of the season, with Dohar having those 5 wins. But I mean, you've been pretty much rocking the top 3 all season from the start of the season. So I didn't have a feeling that you wouldn't be one of these 4. I expected you to be one of these 4. Just because I just wanted to see you run for a championship. I wasn't sure if you would come home with the championship based on what I've seen. You were in the race that we saw and turned down for what, where Dohar kind of just dusted everybody here in the desert and ran away with it. So I kind of was thinking that might be the same thing tonight, but hey, it's racing. Anything can happen. Just like they say in football, any given Sunday. Well, any given Sunday on a NASCAR race as well, things can happen. And here on Tuesday night, you become our first season 1 champion. So just massive congratulations. So Shad, any questions for your good buddy here and fellow teammate on multiple different leagues?
Question. I don't know how. I can't imagine what the emotions he's going through because I've never won a league championship. But obviously, my only question is, Chris, you find yourself out front towards the end of this race. You got all 3 of your teammates lined up behind you. You got Osborne, who was fast in practice, won the practice race. Then you got Tyler Dohar, the man that's pretty much dominated the season, and Jose Ruiz behind him, who's been known to be really good on tires as well. And we all seen where Phoenix, you guys needed to save that right rear. How were you feeling at that point of the race? I think there was maybe like 30 to go or 25 to go. How were you feeling about your chances at that point in time? And then just, what does this mean for you to get this championship and get something to build a shelf for that you were saying and have something to put on it?
Yeah, so I was pretty nervous when they were right behind me. The whole race, though, I wasn't really going all out. I was trying to save my tires as much as possible. Most of the time when I was pitting, I still had like 90% or plus on my tires, so I was really trying to take care of them. So I didn't really show my hand the whole way. When those guys pit, when the 22 and the 42 pit, I knew that they were going to be coming through the field, so I was hoping that I could just stay in front of my team and they would get fought by the 22 and the 42 as they were coming through and kind of give me a little bit of separation, which it ended up happening, which was amazing for me because then I was just managing that gap. And yeah, I moved over, let them go by me. I was like, there's no point in me burning up my stuff. Like I'm racing against the 81 and the 77 and the 23. And I mean, it's just it feels it's so like in disbelief. Like I've only been, I think this is my third or fourth season in any league for iRacing. And so when I came into this, I was hoping I'd be competitive. I hope I could maybe steal a win or two. Didn't really think that I had a chance at the championship. And I don't even know where I'm going to build this shelf, but it's going to be an awesome shelf. I heard the trophy is supposed to be really cool, and I can't wait. I'll definitely post some pictures.
Well, Chris, definitely want to give you a huge shout out again. Congratulations. I can't say much more about you. You've been very, very humble in multiple leagues that I've been with you racing or broadcasting for. So um, I know you've got some shout outs. I know you have one specific one that you always do when you're in the top three. So let us hear them.
Yeah, well, first, happy Valentine's Day to everybody. And of course, I got to thank my absolutely amazing wife that lets me do this week in and week out, especially on Valentine's Day. She's waiting on me for me to cook the steaks for dinner. So I'll keep this kind of short. Thank you so much to Tyler T and Tyler B for putting on this league. It's been a blast. I've really enjoyed this league here. Highly recommend anybody that's listening that's looking for a league, come check us out here. It's amazingly run. Is really, really great. And then, of course, thank you to you and to Shad for putting on an awesome broadcast week in and week out as well. My team, Filter Time Esports guys, Tyler, Jose, and John for pushing me all week, the whole season, and just making me better week in and week out, and getting on me when I speed on pit road, and reminding me to make sure I check my tires. And then, the just everybody that's watching, it's just so much fun to be out here. And I'll even give a big shout out to Fueled Up Motorsports. Like they're a really good team. They're going to definitely be very competitive next season. I'm already looking forward to those battles. Me and the 22, we had some run-ins the last couple of races, but it's been a blast. It's been really fun. It was great to be able to go door to door with them week in and week out as well. So thanks so much.
All right, well, we're going to pull up our third place finisher, and that is the 81 of John Osborne getting another top three finish this season and ending out the season with that top three and coming home second in the championship. It looks like you're going to be able to take a better dinner than I think the reference was Subway for fourth place, even though I don't see what the problem is for Subway. But you're going to be able to go up for a better dinner with that second place payout. Congratulations on the second place, John. Give us a little rundown on how this race went for you, and if you would have had anything, if a caution would have came out for Murphy or Johnny D.
Well, the race didn't start off as good as I had hoped. I was a little slow in qualifying. There was a little bit more grip than I had anticipated, and I could have gave it. Well, I can't talk. I could have given it a little bit more, and I just thought I was doing what I should do. And then I saw the 27 threes up there, and I'm like, well, whoops. So a lot of guys were pushing really, really, really hard, which I kind of anticipated. Um, but the 22 got loose there. I don't remember what lap that was, and I went on the outside of him, and then he dove it low, and I tried to give him plenty of room because I knew he was probably going to drift up the track, and he just caught me in my left rear and spun me out. I was able to save it though, so there was really no damage there, but that really put me behind the eight ball because I was having to drive a little bit harder than I wanted to try to get some track position back, and it took a long time. Finally, I just backed it off and just said, I'll just let it come to me. And it did. As far as the end of the race, if we'd had a caution come out and, depending on if we all came down and took fresh rubber, I could definitely be good on the short run if I needed to push. Um, and I almost came down when Johnny and Jason came down and took tires with them. But as the race was going on and there were so many cautions, we all anticipated there would be at least one more, and there wasn't. And so I just tried to maintain what I had, and I was just a little bit too loose there at the end, and I didn't have anything for Chris. And I know Tyler was loose, and I'm not really sure about Jose. He was pretty quiet, but overall it was a good race. I gave it all I had there at the end, and I'm very very satisfied from where I could have ended up to where I did end up. Um, but yeah, man, just a just a good day overall. Just not as good as I would have wanted.
Well, I mean, what does this do for you for season two? Asking you as well this question because you came on strong. You missed the first race of the season. You worked your way through the top 12. I think you ended the regular season in fifth or sixth or seventh, somewhere right around there. And obviously, you worked your way through the first race that was an elimination race, the second race which was an elimination race, and now we get to the championship that you made it into and you finished second in this race. So, does this do something for confidence, a boost, or anything like that going into season two? We also have, I do believe, another league that you're going to be racing in. Shake and Bake will be coming back on Mondays. I think they run these cars too, and then Turn Down for What's moving on Mondays as well. That runs these cars. So you've got a lot of different leagues that are going to be running these cars, and you're kind of bolstering your notebook with these cars and races that you've run this season with running with Velocity Motorsports.
Oh, most definitely. I have definitely gained a ton of confidence, especially being in this league. And I got to give a massive thanks to all of my teammates for that. Tyler and Chris and Jose. They're really good pushers. And Tyler shoots it as straight as they come. And so if you're doing something not good, he's just going to tell you. Ugly as it may seem, but I mean he's good and he's earned the right to be able to to help people out that way. But yes, I've learned a lot about this car. From driving it last season in SNB, and then driving it here and even in Turn Down for What. I really feel like I've learned what the car can do, what the car can't do, and just finding the balance of just on the edge of out of control. Um, and one thing that this league, and especially in the back half, getting into the playoffs, I was able to be excuse me, I was able to be a little bit more aggressive, but still be able to save some tires, so I had some left, and that was something that I struggled with in S&B was being aggressive but not being able to save tires. But I feel like I've learned a lot, especially with this car, and so I mean I'm on cloud nine as far as confidence. I just need to you know hone it back in and just get ready for next season, which I just found out starts March the 21st.
Shad, any questions for John Osborne in this 81, bringing it home third tonight?
I mean, yeah. So John started to come on towards the later end of this regular season. Started from behind in the playoffs, was able to make it through each and every round to find yourself here at the championship four. You're right there behind your teammate who ends up winning this championship towards the end of this race. What do you think you could have done differently to maybe, gotten there and had a chance to pass them? As it looked like you couldn't get any closer than where you were. So I guess just what do you think maybe now looking back, or after you watch the replay, maybe you'll figure it out. But what do you think you could have done different there to maybe you have the chance to lift that trophy?
Yeah, I don't really know. I felt like I was being really smart on my corner entry and not trying to slide the tires. I was trying to maintain a gap in front of Tyler, and his car just fell off like a rock there with about 10 to go. and so then I just tried to back it down and pace myself. I think one thing that really hurt me is that lap down car. I think it was the 49. He clipped my right front when we were coming to like three to go, I think, and I know I had a little bit of damage there, so that ended all of my ability to really continue to try to push. One thing I think I could have done is maybe went down a little further on my brake bias. I think it was a little too high and it was a little too tight entering the turns, but my car was loose. But I think if I'd backed down the brake bias, it might have evened it out so I could have a little bit more drive off. I don't know if I could have gotten all the way up to Chris, but I could have made him nervous. And his car was a little loose there too at the end. You're running behind him. I could see him, especially coming off the two. He was a little squirrely, and he was talking in the chat. He's like, "Man, I kind of want this win." I'm like, "Yeah, go fight for it. Go get it." So, and I think he kind of he backed it off a little bit because I mean it just takes one little slip up, one wrong entry in the turn, and that back ends out. But as far as that, my lines were good. I was driving really good lines, and so maybe the brake bias and getting that damage at the end. But I mean, I other than that, I gave it all that I had. And I don't know what else. I'm very satisfied with my effort. And I mean, there's as far as looking back, and I'll go back and watch some of the replay. I usually go watch all the broadcasts you guys do and hear all the banter that you're talking about during the race. So it's fun. It's fun. But I off the top of my head, I can't think of anything that I would have done any differently. The fact that I got all the way to third was pretty miraculous considering where I had been.
Well, John, any shout outs for you or anything like that to end this thing out?
Absolutely. First want to give a big shout out to Johnny. I know he kind of came in midway through the season and he was fast, but he was also very respectful, knowing he was new. He wasn't trying to force anything. I know at Indianapolis he had an opportunity to really force an issue entering one in the late stages of that race, and he backed off. And I really gained a lot of respect for him at that point. And man, he raced a very, very hard race tonight. He was clean race, but he was also racing very hard. You could tell that he wanted to steal a win from our team, and he did a really, really, really good job there. And it was a good call on their part to take tires there. It was a gamble for sure if another caution comes out because we're going to be able to take fresh rubber, but that never happens. So he's able to get out there and just hang on as long as he could. I want to give a huge shout out to my team, to Tyler, to Chris, to Jose, Filter Time Esports. It's been a pleasure running with these guys. They adopted me first race I came in. I think it was Vegas, since I missed the opener of my own accident. I forgot what when the league was starting. I thought it was the next week. I was wrong. That's on me. So I want to thank those guys. They've been a massive help all season long. Really coaching and just helping us run better lines and for fuel saving and just maintaining tire wear as long as we can. I want to give a big shout out to Tyler B and Tyler T. They have they put together a fantastic league here at Velocity. And like Chris said earlier, anybody that's listening still, come check us out, join the league and come run with us. More the merrier. And we're having a blast. It's a lot of fun. Also want to thank my sponsor, Woody's. They have some great sunglasses, wood sunglasses, woodies.com. They've been on my car for most of this year. I know I've gone back and forth between a couple different paint schemes, but I wanted to end with them on my car in the championship race. And so they've been a really cool sponsor, really great to work with. And they make a great product too. So go check them out at woodies.com. And then last but not least, I want to thank my mom and dad who are faithful. They watch every race that they can.
Would that be Jane?
That's Janet.
Or Janet. Okay, so there's somebody, Jane Prentice?
I don't know who that is.
Oh, well, they said woohoo Osborne, and Jeremiah Whitehead also said congratulations, third place. That's awesome.
Yeah, Jeremy. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, he's a good friend of mine. He's the youth pastor at our church. He's just a great guy. Love that dude to death. So, and apologize to Jane if I don't know who you are, I'll look you up. So my apologies there. Give a thanks to everybody who was watching tonight. I sent it out to a lot of people. I don't know who all was watching. I know my friend
There was a
Brian. I know
lot.
he was. Yeah, I told you we are gonna have some good show out tonight. So, I mean, I want to thank you guys. The fantastic job you've done all season long. Jumping in and talking to us before the race, trying to figure out what the track's doing, and talking to us during the race and before the race, after the race, when I've been able to make the podium. So you guys have done an excellent job, and I'm so happy that you're going to be back for season 2. I'm really looking forward to that. And Curtis, you do a great job, Chad. I can't wait to race with you again on the track, but love having you in the booth, but I prefer to race you on the track. But yeah, man, really great effort. One spot off. Yeah, it's as close as it gets.
It gives you the rabbit to chase for next season. So.
Oh, and I'm ready, man. I'm about to move over to direct drive and load force, so it's game on.
Well, definitely congratulations on the 3rd place and 2nd place in the point standings, bringing home that 2nd place payout. And just an overall great season by you and the other drivers in this league. Definitely want to give a huge shout out to the owner admins, Tyler B and Tyler T, for everything they've done this season and bringing me in and bringing Chad into the booth with me. It's been a great first season. Can't wait for the 2nd season. Definitely
Can I
big
have one
shout
more
out
thing?
Yeah. What's up, John?
Yeah, totally my fault. And I know I thank my team, but man, massive congrats to Chris on the championship. He's worked his butt off. He works real hard at practice, and I think he tries to show up to most of the practice races just like I do. He did an excellent job tonight. Those last 10, 15 laps. Even though he's a little bit loose, he never made any mistakes. I was hoping that maybe one little thing would slow him up a little bit, and he never did. So excellent job. Love that guy to death. He's been a great teammate, and look forward to working with him in the future. So massive congrats to you, Chris, when you hear this, and couldn't be prouder, man. Good job.
All right. Well, definitely, like I said, big shout outs to the owner admins, Tyler T and Tyler B. Definitely appreciative of them allowing us to come up here and then just overall to all the drivers. Shad, this season's been great. I want to say thank you to you as well for coming up here. I know you've got a lot of knowledge on track. We've raced console, iRacing, and you're always better than I am no matter where I'm at on the track for console or iRacing. But you bring a lot of different experience and strategy calls and knowledge of the cars and things like that that I just don't have. I have some of it, but not all of it when it comes to strategy and things like that. So big shout out to everybody involved. Big shout out to all the people that were viewing throughout the entire season, the chats blowing up all the way through the season to the end. And just overall big thank you. Shad, any final words here before we close out this season here?
Just one heck of a season for Velocity Motorsports for season 1 of this next gen series. The guy that won the most races didn't end up winning the championship, something that happens all the time in NASCAR, and I'm sure Dohar will be right back here next season doing the same thing, and just we'll have to figure out the last race. I thought he was going to be there, and just unfortunate for him, he wasn't able to get back up there. But congrats to Chris Murphy. Obviously a little biased. I mean, he was my pick, even though we didn't make a pick. But he's one heck of a guy, teammates with him, and I'm so happy that he was able to win it. And looking at next season's schedule, it's going to be tough. Like you said, there's some really hard courses on this schedule.
There's
looking
some rough
at it,
ones.
I automatically I see a track on there that just happens to sound like Nexus, and
Your favorite track?
yeah, it just happens to be my favorite track, a track that I am really good at. Anyone that's raced there with me knows that, and I look forward to either calling that or maybe racing it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. What's going on, but Some other, interesting, looking at this, the rounds are longer for next season.
Yeah. Playoff
There's a
schedule's a
road,
little different.
there's a road course in the one of the rounds. In the championship race moves to a different track. So I think it's going to be one heck of a season. I think this league is just improving. You start out with these 12 or 11 races, whatever it was, and then now next season they're already putting it out, and it's going to be 17 races. So we're going a little longer laps also. So this league, I think, is doing nothing but growing. They're making the right moves. You start out small and start building your way every season.
And they have a truck season, I believe, coming out too, and they already have an Xfinity series as well.
Yeah, and um, yeah, they're doing the things the right way, and they make the right calls with guys on track, and there's no bias when it comes to penalties or anything like that. So, like some of the other drivers said, if you're watching this, you could be brand new to iRacing, just like Johnny D was. Um, you know, hit these guys up, and maybe join us for next season, and race some of these really good drivers that are on iRacing. And Kurt, obviously, when it comes down to the season, thankful for both Tylers for putting us both up here in the booth, and you bringing me along to call these races with you. And it's just been one heck of a season, and I look forward to next season. I think it's going to be even better than what this season was.
I definitely agree. One last big shout out for me. Obviously, big Valentine's Day, so definitely a big shout out to my wife. And also, my son apparently decided, who is less than 2 years old, decided to grab the tablet tonight and somehow ended up on YouTube watching the race. The wife brought over the tablet, and somehow he was watching the YouTube broadcast of the race with us talking in the background and watching the racing. So that was kind of a weird shocker too, that he was able to figure it out. I don't know how he works the tablet so easily, but somehow got to the broadcast on YouTube and was watching it. So I guess an extra viewer for me on YouTube tonight from my son, who's not even 2 yet. So, but anyways, this is going to wrap up the season for Velocity Motorsports. I'll be back this Thursday for repeat 1975's broadcast of the Spartan iRock TV Challenge that just kicked off last week at Daytona in their truck series. Well, I'll be back Thursday night at about 9 o'clock. I think it's when repeat 1975 goes live. So if you've got nothing to do on Thursday, come out and watch. Guys go for $1,000 first place prize, a $5,000 purse total. $100 pay-in for those guys that entered this season. I think they've got about 28 guys in the league or something, or in the series. So guys are going for big money on Thursday nights on repeat 1975's iRock TV channel on YouTube that I'll be doing with him. And then I'll be back Monday night for AER's Truck Series. We've got about halfway through the season on that one. Playoffs will be kicking off here in about 8 races before we get into there. So if you've got nothing to do on Monday night, come out and root for those. And then, like everybody has been saying here tonight, Velocity Motorsports returning apparently March 21st for their Season 2. And then turn down for what will be returning May 16th, I believe, or May 22nd. I can't remember. Papa, if you're still out there, post it in the chat. But one of those dates, they'll be returning there for their next-gen series, which is now moving to Monday nights that I'll be covering. So a lot of big things coming. Definitely tune in and watch, and we'll see what happens here. Thank you to everybody out there, and catch us next time.